Yeah, and that's how we do that. It only took 153 shows to do that.
There we go.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. And let me get myself organized here first of all. There, that works. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of astronomy outreach for November the 13th, the Sunday night astronomy show.
Hey,
And guys, we do this. Hey, come on, guys. Hey. There. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay, and I'm an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. First of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-host and fellow RAS member, Mr. Paul Owen, from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Good evening, Paul.
Moon, shadow, moon, shadow, moon, moon.
Moon.
Okay. Gotta be a little older to appreciate that.
I was just gonna go, yay!
And I'd like to introduce our other regular co-host and fellow RAS member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in beautiful St. John. Welcome, Mike.
Get it in there one way or the other.
Okay, we got two other gentlemen here with us this evening. I'd like to welcome our special guest this evening, Mr. Tim Doucette from Deep Sky Eye Observatory in beautiful Quinnan, Nova Scotia. Tim.
Hey!
Welcome, buddy.
Thanks for having me back.
We got to do it once more. Okay, and also we'd like to welcome Mr. Stefan Picard of Cliff Valley Astronomy in Quispamsis, NB.
Hey guys.
Hey!
Yeah.
Lisa says, good evening from near Wallops tonight. Hey, awesome, Lisa.
Hey.
Hey. Okay. On tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Now, our rural location here in Atlantic Canada means dark skies are quite common, but that's certainly not the case everywhere. We are pretty fortunate to have this natural resource to share with our families and friends. But there's a market that's basically untapped. Well, what market would that be? Well, astrotourism. And that's going to be our discussion tonight. It's becoming quite popular. People will travel for very long distances in some cases to catch a glimpse of dark skies. We had that happen, guys, with us this summer at the Fundy National Park. We had a couple that came down from Toronto to just for the park, just for that event. On tonight's program, we're going to talk with a couple of our entrepreneurs here in astrotourism about what astrotourism is doing and how it's evolving right now and how what we can do to help increase its availability. Also tonight, Binal Bud will return with another fine binocular target of the week. Mike will also present his next lunar challenge. Also, Rosanna has kindly provided another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts episode for us. And Paul will have another astro tip of the week to share. Think astrophotography at Christmas, eh, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. I'll provide you with a look at what to look for in the night sky over the next week, including something that's coming up on the 16th. And I'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share, as well as your lunar eclipse photos that you sent in to me. And I have a contest with a prize I'll be awarding here a little bit later as well. So they're all in a nice little 3-minute collage. We'll take a look at that together right around the end of the program. So this is a family-friendly interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from a YouTube channel or Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome back all of those who have been joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, guys, so let's get started then with tonight's program and a discussion around astrotourism, what it all means. We're going to start with Mr. Stefan Picard. And give us a little bit of introduction, Stefan, if you would.
Thanks, Chris. As you know, you guys, I started this past year, Cliff Valley Astronomy. Initially, I just started offering star parties for small groups and all that, and quickly realized there was a lot of potential around because of New Brunswick. New Brunswick enjoys quite a few assets and strengths that aren't well known or well understood. So that led me down the road to, in hopes of, encouraging more astronomy related activities and things in New Brunswick, to approach the province about, particularly the Department of Tourism, about developing an astrotourism strategy. And you'll see in my presentation here, I'll bring on, the more I dove into it, and also with a very significant event coming in the very near future, that now's obviously the right time to do this and really benefit and ride that big wave of what that big event will represent, and hopefully get us on the course as a province to concentrate on this, what is quite a novel niche, trending segment of tourism and travel. Now, Tim, for their part, they're well ahead of us, and they're doing fantastic things in his area and all that. I hope that we can get on and get the same buy-in and the same support across the province. And I'll explain why I think we should gravitate and focus as a strategy that it's all inclusive around the province. So if you don't mind, I'll bring up my screen here for my presentation. And,
Sure.
I'll quickly, it's a little bit toned down of a presentation I did for the Department of Tourism. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. No problem.
Yeah, so we'll just be okay. So that's just me there. So I'm gonna get into it. But what's astrotourism? Let's say you do not know what it sounds fancy. It's all this and that. A lot of people initially might confuse it with maybe space tourism, what the Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos of sending William Shatner out on the ride into the beyond the atmosphere to finally get into outer space. So that's now really called space tourism. So initially there was a little bit in the early years, a little bit of confusion, but basically astrotourism is going to sites and venues where you can enjoy the night sky, and usually away from heavily light pollutions. Urban areas are unfortunately not ideal for this. So you usually run to areas that are very rural, deep into the woods, along the coast, and so forth. And basically, for a lot of people, it's offering this for the people that are in big urban centers or suburban areas where, because of light pollution, they've lost that intimate relationship with the night sky, which has happened so quickly over a couple generations. A couple generations ago, my grandparents or my great grandparents were still relying on the sky for telling them where to go. You use the stars for direction. You use the lunar cycles for a variety of things, when to harvest and so forth. So with the quick evolution of civilization, there's a huge population around the world that cannot see the night sky like we can in rural areas. So now people are going to those sites when they're trying to escape the urban jungle. So that's basically chewed up way of how to explain astrotourism. The really what I'm going to hone on to is for the potential tonight for New Brunswick, because we're not well into it yet, but there's huge potential. And the state of Colorado think for themselves that this was a study a handful of years ago, that there's potentially over $2 billion over the course of 10 years about them rolling out an astrotourism strategy for what they have for strength in their state. And then if we look, and that's going to bring up to the subject we're going to discuss here in a little bit, there was a solar eclipse that went through the Midwest the United States. I think, Tim, you went to the States for that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So
amazing.
yeah, so now we've had these states and their Department of Tourism's or agencies that, you know, it was very followed. A lot of people went. I know several friends went to, I believe, Nashville to go and catch it nearby, and then they rolled it into a week stay of doing things and all this and that. But it was a huge impact for something that doesn't last very long. An eclipse, you know, yes, it's a couple hours for the full cycle, but when you get the full eclipse, we're talking less than 5 minutes. But some of the states that I really was impressed with the impact of it, like Wyoming is one of the few handful of states that has a smaller population than New Brunswick, and it's highlighted here on my screen that for the solar eclipse of 2017, the economic impact of that state alone was $63.5 million. That is massive for a period of 5 days. People wanted to gravitate there and catch an event that was really at its peak, 5 minutes long, not even. So, you know, what's happened? How does that relate to New Brunswick? As most people in who followed this show and follow a little bit of astronomy, they know in April of 2024, we're going to get a full solar eclipse come through New Brunswick. So that would, you'll see where I'm going with this in a second here, but also why astrotourism? You know, more people are paying attention to this. Airbnb have now this as a searchable thing on when you look up for when you look at property, if you certain amenities you want to make sure that you have maybe a hot tub or Wi-Fi or AC. Well, now you can search with a telescope because there's properties that do offer a telescope. And this was, again, in the early pre-pandemic, a few years before, that this was sort of taking a little bit of steam in certain areas of the United States. New Zealand were some of the countries that were really getting on board early. Again, Tim's area in Nova Scotia is one of the first ones, I think, across Canada, one of the regions that really focused a really strong strategy that people bought into, the business community bought into. And so they're a little bit ahead, but as you can see, there's it's a growing trend. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and then what that caused, it put a stop on travel. But on the flip side, it pushed more people into astronomy because they had more time. They were looking for new hobbies. You can travel, you know, so people, as you know, got more into astronomy these past 2 years than any time in recent history, right? So, so now that we're out of that, there's now more people involved in looking at the sky than there was pre-pandemic. Some other statistics here on just explaining where these regions around the world are seeing huge growth based on it. And look at this, Tim, Yarmouth, Canada, 221%. And this is a global study for them to realize that Yarmouth, and it was understood that they're seeing, you know, positive effects of astrotourism, and they're seeing solid results. That's pretty significant. When I saw that, I definitely wanted to showcase that. So this is my vision of where I think New Brunswick should go and concentrate. Why New Brunswick? Well, some of us know, and it's not well known, but most people that are either attached to an astronomy club or the New Brunswick chapter of the Royal Astronomy Society of Canada understand that we have 4 certified dark sites in New Brunswick. There's 3 of them that are dark sky preserves. They're Mount Carlton Provincial Park, Kuchipukwak National Park, Fundy National Park, and we also have an urban star park, which is right here in St. John at the Irving Nature Park. And I think anecdotally, I think it was the first urban star park in Canada, correct? So when we look at that relative to New Brunswick, you can see that they're located pretty much in every corner of the province. So really the whole province can benefit from these recognized certified sites. So whether northwest at Mount Carlton or Puchipuquac sort of catering to the northeast, the Irving Nature Park with this southwest, and then Fundy southeast. There's really nobody more than, I'd say, 69 minutes away from a certified dark sky site. And actually, I think the province could have so many more dark sky sites, but there's a bit attached to being recognized as dark sky. You got to manage the space or the area where you control light pollution from coming in. If there is a little bit of development, there has to abide to certain light measures for control, so it doesn't get over light polluted and so forth. But I mean, one example is I did a star party back in the summer at the Mactaquac Provincial Park, just outside of Fredericton. That could easily be another urban star park. And as I look around the province, and you guys know the province as well, we have so many rural areas that are beautiful. They're away from polluted light skies and so forth. So I think there's so much more potential for a small province. But in relevance to when we consider the small population of New Brunswick, and you look at every province across Canada, we're the ones that have the most per capita with at least more than one certified dark sky sites. You know, I think Newfoundland has one. So if you don't, because they only have one, that's, you know, I throw that out of the equation. But after that, if you look at per capita, the population divided by the 4 dark sky site makes us number 1 in that category. And that is a strength, and we should be promoting it extensively because it gives a good variety of options. Why an Astro strategy now? I think, like I said, we're about 19 months or 20 months away from the total eclipse of April 2024. And if we seize the moment, this could be a catapult to really get our strategy out strong and faster than usual, because people will be paying a lot of attention here very soon. I suspect by within the next 6 months, you're going to start seeing the province advertising it from a tourism standpoint. You'll probably see some of the more established tourism players or operators around the province also starting to focus on this because of the huge potential it represents. There's other opportunities around this. You know, like in Tim's area, they have a festival. I can't wait to, apparently it's coming back this year. It was on hold for a couple of years, but they have a Starlight Festival. I will be heading down there. It's in my calendar. I was happy to hear that's coming back. I think certain communities in New Brunswick could benefit from that. We could have conferences and all that. So there's a whole lot more than just doing some astrotourism strategies just around going at one spot only. Now you create an event. It's not just driven by a celestial event. It's actually a community of stargazers of any level getting together to do what they enjoy doing. So there's more reasons to get together. And this is a path of what the eclipse will be doing in April 2024. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me, I think New Brunswick will probably be the best jurisdiction in all of Canada to benefit from it. It's going to touch a bit of Quebec. The center of the path of totality just directly slices through right the middle of New Brunswick, which makes it quite accessible to anybody in the province. That if you're from no more than an hour, I'd say, or slightly maybe a little bit more for certain people, you'll be able to go and get a good view of the eclipse. And if not at its full totality, it'll be very close to it. It'll cross from Maine around Heartland, I believe, go above Fredericton, go along the Miramichi Valley and then come out the other end near Kuchibukwak below Miramichi. If you look at PEI, it's going to get it quite a bit, but the center of the path of totality is at the tip right in the water. So unless you go on the boat, you won't be directly in the center path of totality. Unfortunately, Nova Scotia won't be able to see any of it unless they stream it. And then Newfoundland gets it, but it hits really north of the province where it's more remote. So people will have to be traveling a few hours by car to get into a good position to enjoy it. So I think this is a huge opportunity for New Brunswick. We got to seize it. It'll give us a good appreciation of what the big potential is. It'll be short-lived for this eclipse, but it'll maybe help provide like I said, that initial boost to get us out of the gate really strong for as a sector. So who can benefit? I mean, it's everybody that's in the tourism space, campgrounds, cottages, Airbnbs, like I mentioned. You can now search hotels, inns, lodges, even urban areas, even if certain tourism operators here in St. John, because of the Irving Nature Park, you can make something happen. You can do packages at the Hilton, arrange for a shuttle to go to the nature park and still have an actual astrotourism event. Or, when we have, if there's a cruise ship that comes and happens to stay overnight, they don't often do, but when they do, take them down to St. Martin's, where the skies are gorgeous at night as well. And, there's stuff that can be done when the opportunity arises, or we create the opportunities and so forth. So it's not necessarily, it's primarily rural, but there's opportunities too around, I'd say, urban areas. How much would they benefit? There's a number of ways a tourism operator can benefit from this. It can help them draw more traffic to their accommodations. They can offer a little bit of a astronomical offering, whether it's having a telescope or have somebody bring in and do these little star parties for everybody on their sites or anything, so that you can capture more residual dollars. So it means better margins, and people are paying for this because they appreciate the value of it, right? Also, there's some other strategies that can be worked out, and this is where maybe regional tourism agencies like Discover St. John or Chaleur Tourism and so forth, where a lot of people do day trips with their families, for staycations and all that. They take off in the morning, fill the car, they go, and they spend the day in, let's say, a venue like St. Martin's or Alma, and then at night they go back home and they made a full day of it. If there was a reason to get them to maybe do an overnighter, one of the studies I happened to come across was from the United States National Park System, where they did a study, I think it was in Utah, an average family of 4, if they do a day trip where they leave in the morning, come back in the evening, spend on average $90 US for a day of activities. And then when there was a reason for that same family of 4 to stay overnight, that spend went from 90 to 270. Why? Well, now they're paying for accommodations, they're doing more activities in the area. So shops, restaurants, and all that can also benefit from certain astro tourism strategies that really convert day trippers to overnight stayers. So there's a whole slew of things, it's making the right offers, the right strategies that create opportunities because people do love. The biggest thing in travel and tourism for almost the last decade, it's providing an experience. And also, one of the key things I love about astrotourism is people travel for a number of reasons throughout the year. You can do astronomy year-round because we know that night sky changes and all that. But if you do travel or go on treks or small trips, whether it's snowmobiling, hiking, kayaking in the summer. Well, now you have a reason to engage and offer something for these travelers for something to do at night. You know, most of these activities that people do, some of their reason for traveling, like snowmobiling and all that, some, you know, most people will do their activities during the day, but what do you do at night except sit around a campfire? Well, now there's something you can engage on and maybe get some more value, get some residual dollars spent to, which can improve your business bottom line and so forth. So again, there's a whole lot of things that can be considered, especially for year-round tourism operators, and some that are seasonal maybe now have something to maybe consider a longer or maybe turning into a year-round operation. There's additional impact, you know, when there's so much activity, but that a business community gets behind it, and government offers the right support to support something that is seen as an asset and is benefiting a community and all that. It can be education, social, cultural. We talked about earlier before the show started about First Nations. You know, if you have a First Nations near you, you know, the elders would have great stories about the rich history and the folklore about the sky and the meanings of the moon and, you know, certain things. We got some great attractions that bring us back to how people lived 300-400 years ago in King's Landing, Village Acadien up north, where, you know, the night sky was essential for telling people when and how to do things or where to go and how to get there and so forth. You know, we do have some universities also and colleges in the province that might have some new programs to offer. I'm thinking there's the former premier, Brian Gallant, now a CEO of Space Canada, you know, so there's a local boy here representing companies across Canada who are in the aerospace side of things, but they're really on the space side of things. It's not the Bombardier, it's the companies that are providing components for rockets or satellites and all this and that. So, you know, there's an evolving, I think Cape Breton also is a proposed site for a launch site. You know, there's all these surrounding things that can follow and create an ecosystem that beyond the tourism sector, a whole lot of other sectors can also benefit for it. And also by default, the people of that province or area also get to enjoy now new things because of it. So there's a whole lot to it compared to Tim's slideshow. This is more conceptual because we're just trying to get this off the ground. I'm trying to make as much noise as I can, but you know, we are in dialogue with the province. They all well aware about all this, so I'm sure something will come out of it. And you know, we got some great examples next door in Nova Scotia, and we can look to other parts of the world who have a fantastic offering, whether it's in New Zealand or, you know, so forth. There's some great good case studies that we can get best learned practices. And you know, it's not for everybody, but I think there's a lot of potential for our province and for many tourism operators who want to go down this route. Where I come in with this is, I hope that with my business background, almost a quarter century of business marketing and sales, and now, you know, an avid astronomer, I can marry the side of the business and the science and come in and work with some of these tourism operators who have an interest, that I can develop a proposal for them based on their strength and cater a solution that will offer them choices how to approach this and at what level they want to go in. So and this is an opportunity, I think, also for the astronomy community around the province too, because the more tourism operators around the province get involved with this, then there's more engagement with your local astronomy club or chapter and so forth. So I think we need the government to be behind this to support and all this and that. But I think if it really starts picking up and the business community, particularly tourism sector, gets behind it, then I think the astronomy community will be there and waiting and willing to be helpful to them too. So feels like I've been talking for a while here. That's it for that.
That's great information, Stefan.
It's a lot, but again, it's conceptual. I'm again, with my marketing hat on, I'm a bit of a dreamer, but I'd rather throw so much out there and not throw enough that it's I hope we do gravitate. I have some great plans for my little business, but I mean, there's enough out there that everybody can benefit in some capacity, and I'm just doing my little role, and we'll go from there. And hopefully I keep getting the boxes. I appreciate the invitation tonight to come and present this idea, this concept.
Well, it's a very important topic as far as I'm concerned. We do have a precious resource here that isn't available throughout all places in North America or even the world. I mean, I've talked to other astronomers in other locations, said, what are your skies like there? Because they've looked at booking for here, and they've been in England and Scotland, like different countries, and I've encouraged them to come because of the fact that we do have this. So we need that market in place, and we could really grow our territory
And one
with
key
that as a
thing
resource.
and that for me, for one key thing is the tourism sector's been so adversely hit during the pandemic. This could be a great way for rebounding and,
Absolutely.
improving the health of many businesses and all that, because if the businesses are healthier, they invest back in the communities, they sponsors the little kids hockey team, and there's a ripple effect, right? So
That's right.
yeah, so I think it's a noble thing to do in that perspective, and I hope a lot of people get behind it. Just anecdotally, I'm talking to about 8 tourism operators right now across the province, from Doketown to Kokang to Alma to right here in St. Martin's to a few other places, and I think there might be more. So this is very early. They're just showing interest, so I'm going to be spending a bit of time with them in the coming weeks and see what can come out of it. So
It's always most difficult to open the door, but
yes,
get them in. That's the thing.
yeah.
All right. And speaking about opening the door, thank you very much for that, Stefan. They're
welcome.
encouraging
Thank you.
thoughts. And one who's opened the door already, a little bit more so, but also introducing new things to Tim. Would you like to carry on with our discussion here?
Yeah, for sure. Great job, Stefan. It's really great to see that somebody else has the passion. I guess show the passion that I have, the passion for astronomy and in astrotourism. It's great, and we're looking forward to working with you and helping in any place we can to.
Yeah. So Tim and I have been in talks to collaborate already. So it goes to show, right? Thank you, Tim.
That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
So it's really great. I'm Tim Doucette, the owner-operator of the Deep Sky Observatory and the chair of the Starlight Development Committee. And I'll explain a little bit about that later. But so I've got a little presentation for you, and we'll see if I can share it properly. And see if it'll go. There we go. Share screen with the sound. All right.
Yeah, they're up
See
there.
what we can do here. Oops. Okay. Can you see my screen?
You can
See
see
your
your pencil.
Why? That's weird. One more time.
Okay.
Here we
How's
go.
that?
Got you now.
Perfect. All right. So astrotourism in Nova Scotia, Southwest Nova Scotia right now, and beyond. So in 2014, our region, the municipality of Clare, Argyll, and Yarmouth, became the first Starlight tourist destination and reserve in North America. So the Starlight Foundation is a group from the Canary Islands, from Spain, and they basically, their mandate has been to protect the night sky and bring science and tourism together, sort of as what we call astrotourism. And they have other, protecting the night sky, defense of the night sky, and giving everybody the right to view the night sky. That's sort of their whole premise. And they're backed by some heavy contributors, I guess, UNESCO being one of them, the International Astronomical Union, and the World Tourism Organization. So they've had a lot of backing and a lot of support around from big organizations. So as I mentioned, we had a group called La Société Touristique Bon Temps d'Argyll. And in 2014, they were trying to get this area certified. I guess they started in 2013. I was living in Moncton at the time, but I was invited to participate in the auditing process, and as a stakeholder, because some people knew that I was going to be moving back home to Nova Scotia. So we became, as I mentioned, the first Starlight tourist destination reserve in North America, and we're currently the only one. There's a significant amount of effort and time involved in getting the area certified. It includes having auditors come for, a fair amount of time, measuring the night skies. They asked for photographs that I had taken over the years. Every time I'd go home to mom's, I'd always take a picture of the lights that, were kind of emitting from the town of Yarmouth, and of course of the night sky, which I knew there was incredibly beautiful. So now we have quite a few stargazing experiences that are starting to emerge. Trail Point Lodge was the first. They're certified as the first Starlight hotel in our area, and of course in the world, apparently. So it's kind of interesting that we have that. There's a gentleman from our area here up in Clare that does La Nuit Stella night hike, called Lalonde. He does basically a hike along the beach at night, and goes through talks about the Akkadian culture, the history, and of course in relation to the constellations and the moon and whatever else happens to be out. We've started creating some infrastructure, the Wedgeport Trail. We're working right now on another trail project that is going to be like a planet walk trail, and it'll have some pretty interesting features that we haven't seen yet. So we're sort of working on that with the community. Of course, Deep Sky Eye Observatory, I'll talk a little bit about. I'll show you what our offering is. A new one that's come this year is called Forest Glen Adventures out in Forest Glen. And you can go camping there. They have telescopes and
If I can interrupt Tim for a second, Forest Glen Adventures has joined us here tonight on Facebook, so give a shout out to them.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
awesome.
great.
So we're pretty excited. And there's a couple of others that are in the works. And so it's growing. It's a growing industry. Yarmouth and Acadian Shores has been a huge supporter of this endeavor. They realized very quickly, once Deep Sky Eye sort of started up, that it was a challenge for me, because I basically had to put the cart before the horse and see where it was going to go. I was going to build my observatory regardless, but once they started seeing that people were coming here and it didn't take long for them to really start promoting our dark skies. And they do that along the ferries. They do that in all over the world, even in the especially in the United States, where many people come from the ferry boat. Now that our ferry is running from Yarmouth to Bar Harbor now, so it's been pretty good. So we started a committee in 2016 or so, 2017, called the Starlight Development Committee, which was part of the Société Touristique Bontemps d'Argyle. But actually, as of next month, we're going to be disconnected from that group. And we've gotten big enough now that we need our own society, which is going to be, it's going to be doing exactly what the Starlight Foundation, is all about. Promoting the initiative, helping astrotourism vendors, trying to get them to incorporate astronomy or the stars in their own products. So whether it's a restaurant that has, a deck outside that they can do a little, stargazing thing, maybe something simple like, an interpreter that can talk about the stars while you're waiting for your food, or having a telescope set up so people could, and have it pointed at the moon so that people could go there and have a look, or even hook up their cell phone and take a picture. Something that people have not, are not accustomed to doing on a regular thing. So there's so many options there, and so much growth that we're still working on. Creating infrastructure for night sky is one of the things on our list as well. We have a whole big report that the Starlight Foundation has provided to us, and it's several pages long about how we could develop the area. And it's like sort of like a strategic plan in a way. It's more of a report, but we'll eventually convert that into a strategic plan. Our committee, we only had 8 members, and right now we're looking at about 15 members as part of our society and our board of directors and everything. So we're growing to the point of that. We need a bigger space. So yeah, if anybody, of course, is in our area that's interesting, we've been interested in joining our little society. We're all actively recruiting, and it has different functionality about what we're going to be trying to accomplish. So it's going to be building infrastructure. It's going to be trying to promote dark sky preservation, and working with the different partners. We've partnered now with different areas of tourism. So Tourism Nova Scotia now has a section on their site for stargazing in Nova Scotia, and there's a tip sheet on how and what you should do to prepare when you're going to go stargazing, for guests. And we're having one as well for the vendors that are providing the service, so how they can get ready to accommodate people who want to come stargazing. Just simple things that people don't realize about the lighting, about platforms and telescopes, and working at nighttime. How do you work efficiently at nighttime? Using red lights, like that whole thing. We've partnered up with, of course, the municipalities are on board. We've had a little bit of funding to renew our certification this year with the Starlight Foundation, because it's a thing you have to work on. You can't just, I got certified, then I leave it alone. No, it's I get certified. Okay, this is what we have to do to keep our certification, as far as protecting our skies, incorporating astronomy in our schools. There's a whole big list of things, but it's pretty exciting that we've had some great support from the municipalities. Municipalities we now have buy-in as well from the municipalities to incorporate light pollution bylaws as part of land use. So Yarmouth is working on a draft. The town of Yarmouth is working on a draft for their dark sky policy for businesses that are coming into the town of Yarmouth. I'm working on a solution for the municipal lighting of Yarmouth. We have to make a change to their lighting. They just replaced the lighting, but unfortunately they used the wrong kind a few years back, not realizing, the type things change over the years. So we're going to be trying to retrofit some of those lights in the next couple of years. Municipality of Argyle as well has even gone is moving forward with other regulations to try to help protect the night skies. Incorporating nuisance bylaws. Incorporating lighting in that. So Nova Scotia Power, we've been a little working with them last year to try and select the next generation of street lights that will be used in Nova Scotia, especially in the rural areas. And even to the point where, somebody calls from our local area here, and let's say they move from the city and they come to Quinnen and they say, hey, we need a street light. They can call the power company, and today, you can call the power company essentially and get a street light put, and there's no real thought about how it's put, what type of light. So they're going to be able to tell people that, hey, oh, you're in Argyle, Clare, Yarmouth, in the dark sky area. We have to install this type of light, and we have to install it this way. So it has to be installed properly, so it's directing the light down. So stuff like that. It's been great so far, and we won an award a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, I think, for the first Starlight Awards. The Acadian Skies and Mi'kmaq Lands is the name of our certification, and we won for basically education in astronomy. So we've been doing really great spreading the word. So this was in 2018. So benefits of astrotourism. Some of this Stefan already went through, but for us to simplify it, it attracts people to our area to stargaze is one of the big ones. But there's a lot more to it than that, of course. We're trying to get. We've started to get publicity worldwide for this adventure. And, we're trying to get other certifications like dark sky preserves and such through Royal Astronomical Society of Canada and the IDA. So we are working on those. It preserves our heritage and our way of life. So, Yarmouth has been selected, the town of Yarmouth has been selected as one of the sort of top most quaint or beautiful small towns. And in order to kind of keep that small town feel, you really have to have the proper lighting. You kind of keep your way of life. You have people that have, that have lived here for, 2 or 3 generations, and they go outside, they're used to seeing the night sky, and it's not something they may think at some point that, oh my God, I'm losing my night sky. They may not think it can happen, but it can happen very quickly. And as we've realized with the invent of the LED lights, we hope it'll attract other businesses and other scientists and organizations, even NASA. We're hoping that maybe someday, research facilities will come here and say, oh, wow, yeah, you have a great sky. Let's move shop there. We're actually, one of the things on the list is to build another observatory, like a big observatory in Indian Fields, which is where we're part of the UNESCO biosphere here in Nova Scotia, Southwest Nova Scotia. So that'll be a great spot for an observatory out there. It is like Portal 1 easy, super, super dark. And so, we don't even know yet what the other impacts will be. I mean, we're bringing people here, people are spending money. This year we had an incredible year. We've hosted just about close to 1,000 people at the observatory in like 3-4 months. So it's pretty amazing, actually. So next year we'll be looking to hire some help. So a little bit about the Deep Sky Experience. We call it the Nocturnal Sky Theater. And basically you're sitting outside, and we have a bunch of telescopes set up outside, different ones. One was set up with a camera adapter so you can attach your phone. I give a presentation. We have a little video here that kind of shows a little time lapse of what it's like. We have a big projector screen outside. After the presentation, people get a chance to look through telescopes, get a night sky tour. is I've got my telescope in the observatory there, and it'll take pictures and project them on the screen outside, and we talk about them, and we do that live. It's not recorded or anything like that. People get to see the dome and the telescope moving around, lasers shooting up into the sky. They can actually see where the telescope's pointing, and they can actually use their binoculars. So we end up sometimes with some really cool pictures. Here's M51, just a very quick, 5-second shot. And you can see there's a streak there that's probably an airplane or something that's gone by, and everybody saw it, and they saw that, oh, there's something going by, and then you see it on the screen. There it is. So, we give people this as a souvenir to take home. So we share all these pictures and time-lapse stuff that I do with people. And after that, some people decide to stay overnight. We opened up sky bubble tents. We have 3 of them. They're inflated 16-foot vinyl top domes, and basically you sleep there all night, and this is what you see. You see the stars all night. And we even have a cabin that you can stay in, and there's a loft upstairs. You can watch the stars from there as well. We've had so many incredible people come year after year. We've had people that are local people that will come for their anniversary or for whatever. And if it's cloudy, which it does happen, a fair amount, we have the campfires, we have the kayaks. It's all part of the package. You come in, you go kayaking if you want. You can play games on site. We have a bunch of different games and fun things to do, and we're continuously thinking about different things that people love to do. So we're continuing with that. So that's my little spiel, and we're having a lot of fun with it, and I hope that people will get a chance to come out and enjoy it, because we have a lot of fun out here.
Well, I don't know you guys, but I'd say we're about 40 shows away from our 200th episode. So I say we do our 200th episode at Tim's place.
Sounds good. We've
want
got
a bubble
Wi-Fi.
tent.
Live from Quinlan, live from Deep Sky Eye.
Come on down.
All cram into a bubble tent.
That's it. You don't have to cram. There's lots of room, believe me.
That's fantastic, Tim. Yeah, I mean, you've got a real jump on things down there, and you're getting the cooperation from the community and the government. So it's great. I mean, this is what we need. This is what we need. More of you guys out there
I'll
pushing the
plug
stuff.
him here because he might be too humble. I think he won something recently at the Chamber of Commerce down there.
Yeah, Tim, how about that? How would you like to mention that, please?
Yeah, we won the Tourism Business of the Year to the Chamber of Commerce, and so it was pretty exciting. We, wasn't really expecting. There was a lot of great businesses out there that have really, done a lot of great work. But yeah, we were pretty excited to win that.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Fantastic, Betty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Both
shows.
of you guys, what you're doing is just incredible. Like, you're bringing our hobby out there to places it's never been before.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us doing one-on-one outreach, it takes an awful long time to reach as many bodies as you guys are reaching. But you're getting out, you're getting that word out, and like Stefan said earlier, it's getting us an opportunity too to get out to more outreach as well. So it's promoting the whole hobby and promoting our dark skies is the whole key.
And that's it. And that's sort of the grand vision of what I'm trying to accomplish. Again, I'm like Stefan, I got my own little business, and it's doing okay and all that, and I'm happy with it. But it's the promotional thing and spreading the word and trying to get, more, if we can get the buy-in from, most of Nova Scotia, then, the rest will follow. Right.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go to a couple of questions. I've got one here from Mary King. Mary says, is there coordination on between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick light pollution abatement? Or could there be? I guess. Is there any talk about that at all?
Not yet. We, as the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, is sort of reaching out at a national level. So I know they've engaged the federal government on light pollution topics. Our areas are, it's sort of been deemed to be responsibility of the municipalities to create the bylaws and, for light pollution abatement. We have engaged our MLA and, sort of still on our own side, but there hasn't been a connection between the provinces yet. I think again, what has to happen, and it's just my opinion, is that one province has to sort of take the lead. Like what we found now is that now that Argyle has taken the municipality, taken the lead on, created some bylaws and everything, and then when you approach another municipality, they're like, oh, and they use our template and they kind of go with it. And of course, the template that the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada has done as well. So it's kind of, it has to kind of be bought in on a municipal level. Yeah.
Okay, understood. But it'll come. Paul,
Yeah.
Mike, you guys have any questions?
There ain't enough time in the week for how many questions I can have.
Paul, I think you're still muted, Paul. You're still on mute.
But I know Paul was interested with a couple of questions there. He can sign.
There we go.
There.
There you go.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, yeah. No, it looks like I'd say that you guys covered pretty much everything. So I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, gentlemen, for introducing us to astrotourism and our audience. And let's keep the hard work going here. We're making inroads. It's slow, and I know it's slow, and government is slow. It's a great big wheel.
Yeah.
We're little tiny
It
cogs, a
does
great
take
big wheel.
time, as especially when it comes to anything, government or law, that kind of thing. Yeah, it takes a while, but it will come.
But everybody who visits either one of you guys, are more entrepreneur or more ambassadors out there to help promote the hobby, right, and help promote the dark sky. So
if there's
that's the
any
incredible part.
tourism operator listening tonight and you want to reach out, go to cliffvalleyastronomy.com. I'll gladly have an initial chat with you and see where that leads. And
That's awesome.
I'd love to talk to as many as there is. So
Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah, same here.
Thanks, guys.
Same here. Yeah.
Been a real pleasure having you on for this topic, this important topic. Us now, guys, what do you want to do? We're at 8:56, so
I can hold off till next week.
and I can as well. I could do the eclipse photos. Paul, how about you?
I'll just do the Rosanna
Okay,
segment.
let's
and
do the
then-
Rosanna, and then I'll do the eclipse collage that we have there because I'm going to give away a prize. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like a plan, man.
what's up this week? What's up next week? Doesn't really matter.
No.
As long as the lights are off.
That's it.
All right, let me just set up Rosanna here. Okay. See where that's leading me. I can do it over this side, maybe. Come on, my mouse isn't working so good these days. There we go.
I got pills for that.
Yeah. All right, just give me one more second here. I'm almost ready. Where's that? There it is. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen here.
Great.
And this week's.
There it is.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Yay! Welcome back, Rosanna, for another wonderful fun fact. And this one's actually going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to this one. So anyway, let's get right into it. She says, hi, Paul. This is an issue of, in case you missed it, a collection of just weird and wonderful moments in space or from space. On October the 31st, NASA caught this photo. Oh, stupid mouse going, I just lost my screen. Come on. Oh my good God. Let's try something else here. Okay, I just lost everything. There we go.
And that's what it's like to be live.
All right, there we go. So on October the 31st, NASA caught this photo of the sun, our benevolent and kindly source of heat, energy, and light. Or is it? So those coronal holes creating a stay-puffed marshmallow kind of smiley face could create wonderful auroras for Earth or wreak havoc on communication systems. Now, did anyone out there have a pet snake or a pet mouse? Or perhaps feed a mouse to your pet snake? Make this photo as big as you can. Now, this one's really kind of cool as possible. And look at it for the snake and the mouse. And there is also a Christmas tree. So let's just see if I can roll this up. So there, if you look at it really big down here, is a Christmas tree right down there. And the snake is right there. It comes all the way across, and the snake, of course, is heading towards the mouse. Right down in there. So this recently released electrifying view of the heart of the galaxy by astronomers in South Africa took 20 separate observations, generating 70 terabytes of data, and required 3 years of processing. The result is a panorama 1,000 light years wide and 600 light years high of the central regions in the Milky Way. The entire galaxy is 100,000 light years in diameter, and the center is 25,000 light years from Earth. The image taken from the Meerkat radio telescope, an array of 64 antennas spread across 5 miles of desert in northern South Africa, reveals a storm of activity in the central region of the Milky Way, with threads of radio emissions laced and kinked through space among bubbles of energy. So here's a close-up of that mouse and the snake. You remember the mouse, the snake we just looked at?
Yes, sir.
Pointing right over to the mouse. There it is there.
Wow.
It's amazing. So this close-up shows a cloud known as G359.105, the glowing remains of a supernova explosion. To its left, the mouse, a runaway pulsar possibly formed and ejected by the supernova. To its right, a radio wave emitting filament known as the snake. And this credit is Haywood of Sarao, S-A-R-A-O. Now, have you ever felt like you were being watched? Usually this occurs the day after the evening of a horror film. Well, I'm not sure if cosmonaut Sergei Korsakov had time to watch any scary films the night before tweeting this after watching the Russian cargo supply craft leave the space station. Progress MS-18 successfully undocked and departed, but who were those stowaways watching us? And if you get a little bit closer, maybe, I think the snake ate this mouse. There we go. Come on, there we are. So what do you see there?
Wow.
Okay. So
Looks like Ewoks.
Of course, R2-D2's cousins Tweedledee and Tweedledum are just reflections, but it did make everyone take a second look, including the cosmonauts. And now for the finale. What do you think this is? This is a photo taken from a satellite gazing at Earth, but what part of Earth do you think it's looking at?
Wow. Hard to say.
I don't know. Maybe a volcano.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? You would be pretty darn close. It is Alaska's Sitkin volcano, which since May 2021 has become grumbling and agitated. On May 25th, 2021, a minor eruption lasted for a couple of minutes. The initial explosion was heard as a loud bang 30 miles away. Since then, the volcano has continued to grumble. Increased seismic activity and the occasional burp of ash, steam, or lava have been earned this distinction of having a daily status of orange or red, and the two highest alert levels for nearly a year. The image above shows two rivers of lava snaking from the volcano's mouth down its snowy southwest side. If this meeting of fire and frozen water looks a little strange, it's because lava and ice do some interesting things when they get together. While the consequences can be catastrophic, for example, under the right circumstances, the eruption of ice-covered volcano can trigger a devastating, and I can't hardly say this word, it's called Jakolop, which means a mega flood, mostly closely associated with Iceland's subglacial volcanoes. The more typical interaction is, well, glass blowing. if you're nearby to witness a little mind blowing too. And so, hey, did you guess that last one? Of course, I totally knew it was thickening. Yeah, excuse me. And that was this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey,
great fun fact as usual, and so interesting. I don't know where she finds these,
I don't know where she finds them either,
but
but
I'm
just
so
always
glad
something.
she does.
Yeah, always something fairly, really, like just, I don't know where she finds them. Just, it's amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
Always. Thank you, Rosanna, once again.
Yes.
Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to look at a few photos that were sent in, and then I'm going to show a little short eclipse video, and I want to give away a prize here, which is, hang on, I'll share my screen. Let's bring up the prize, I guess. So we're going to show the eclipse video, and the prize is really this book, which is the 2023 Night Sky Almanac, which is by Nicole Mortellero, and she has done an excellent job on the 2022 book. I haven't got the 2023 yet. I know it's out now on Amazon and other places. And so the person who wins the draw tonight will make arrangements to have that book shipped to you. Okay. So that's going to be for the lunar eclipse photos that were sent in, and I'm going to show those in a few minutes here. But first of all, I want to get out to the photos themselves that were sent in to my page and through the Sunday Night Astronomy Show address. And I just need a second to get my screens in the right location. And I have to open up my photos, which should be here, I think. No, that's not it. Should be this one. Here we go. Okay. All right, let me get this open first, and there's our first photo up. Okay, so let me share my screen. And we're up with our first photo. That's from Robert Gadet. Robert says,
Yeah.
Clavius, Mike's lunar challenge. Mike?
Yeah, we got her.
There you go. Get her. Yep.
Nice shot too.
Nice shot. Nicely done. Thanks, Robert. I'm going to go from there to this one from Brad Perry.
Wow.
Brad says, hi, Chris, just sharing my capture of the lunar eclipse. I thought there was a way here that I could take that and see the whole thing. View, maybe it's view. Let's fit the window. Original size. No, back where it was. I'll figure it out for the next show. Anyway, hi, Chris. Just sharing my capture of the lunar eclipse. I shot this one with two cameras, both shooting at 2-minute intervals. One camera was at 35 millimeter to capture the overall scene and the moon position, and the other was at 900 millimeter to capture the detail of the moon. Then the sequence was assembled in Photoshop. My intention was to depict the entire eclipse from start to finish, but unfortunately I ran out of batteries in one of the cameras shortly after 6 o'clock. Also, the strong winds made it very hard to get sharp photos. We understand that part.
Yeah.
Once the moon started to become dim, despite these setbacks, I'm very pleased with the result and happy to have finally observed a lunar eclipse with my own eyes. There you go. That's what it's all
Very
about.
nice.
Awesome.
Well done. Thanks, Brad. We're going to go from there to this one from. No, this isn't Joey's. This is in the wrong order again. Here we are. This is from Joey Craswell. The gibbous moon, Mars, the Pleiades, and Capella. All
Yes,
nicely there, all gathered together as
Wow.
they are going to be, with the moon's now going to be in Taurus. Or actually, it's going to be in Leo very
Leo,
soon as
yeah.
well. So, yeah. I'm going to go back to the other photo. Which one was that for? That was, oh, I'm not sure what that one was. Okay, let's keep going.
Looks like Mars.
Does. This one was from Chris Benoit. Chris says, my NGC catalog. He said, man, I am booked for the next 200 years. Sure thing.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Well done. Yeah. Very well done. Thanks, Chris. Great to share these photos from everybody. Kathy Adams, Jupiter, she said, with Io's shadow transit, which there is going to be another one this week. Not a clue how I pulled this off, she said. The scene was poor, though while the first part of the 2-minute video was okayish, the last fell apart rapidly with the clouds, but you still captured it. Very nicely done.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All the
Great
shadows
job.
there.
Yeah, she does a great job on them. Kathy and Mr. PFO Observatory.
Oh, that was the night of the eclipse.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
It was beautiful looking across the river, but boy, it was cold.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
cold and windy. Yeah. And that one there as well, Mike. The morning,
Yeah, there it is.
Orion, there it is. There's the
Nice.
the moon. And an
Oh,
earlier shot.
Moon and
That was
Mars.
another, yeah, that was another one with Moon and Mars. Gonna go to David Hoskin now. The sequence of images was captured yesterday morning, so that was, of course, the lunar day, showing the lunar eclipse from start to totality. All images captured with the same ISO and exposure.
Yes, sir.
Well done. Love these kind of shots, these collages.
Oh, yeah.
Bridget Green sends in, hi, Chris. This week's crater challenge was a real challenge for me when it came to having a clear sky and a calm wind. So I used one of my previous pictures, you said, in which Clavius is barely visible, but I still enjoyed learning about the moon's features.
It's still there. Nice
Still
shot.
there. Yeah.
Nice capture.
And these from Robert, thanks for that, Bridget. These from Robert Gadet, his son captures lately.
Yeah, he's been doing some amazing work with that
Some
PSD.
really,
Oh, nice.
yeah, for a little 35mm PSD.
Wow.
Lots of detail, and
Captures.
you got it mastered, Robert, I'd say.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
This one is from Mr. Owen here with the lunar eclipse, with lots of stars out around Paul, eh?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of that, is being able to see the stars right
Yeah.
around the full moon.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Another one here from Bridget of the eclipse. These were sent in through the Sunday Night Astronomy Show address, and I've got this one from Duckman. Snow, this eclipsed moon. And the moon rising, what was full there on the Beaver moon, and the eclipsed again. I'm going to go from there to Amy Campbell, who sent this one of the moon rise,
Oh,
Beaver
good.
moon. And another one here from Jeremy Costain, the Beaver moon rising. Mark Hickox, another full moon rising. And Danielle Zamerda with the full moon. Thanks for all these photos, folks.
Yeah, well done.
Amazing stuff. Marianne McKinnon Gillette sent this full moon capture in.
Nice.
Nice, nicely done. And Nicola Clements, her full moon capture. Well done.
Coming out, yeah.
Kathy Adams with her full moon capture.
Wow. Eh?
7th.
It's
Yeah.
one word. Wow.
Yeah, she's got some awesome detail. And Mike Powell's view of the full Beaver moon.
Somebody said it was a beaver moon, so.
Is that the captain's log?
Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, okay. And anyway, that's our photos, and I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So thanks so much, everybody, for sending those in. Close out of that one, and I just want to go from there. So you can send your photos into snaz@astronomybythebay.ca or Sunday Night Astronomy Show @gmail.com, and we would love to get them. We love sharing them, and I'm going to share a little collage here in a second if I can find it, and I'm just going to get it up and running before I share my screen. So I put together your photos that you sent in. Oh, and I want to pause that for a second. I'm going to put together your photos that you sent in to me and brought them together for a little 3-minute collage. So I hope you can see this okay. And once I share it, how about I share it first? This one, I guess. Start bringing it up.
There we go.
Okay, now I should be able to go video full screen, and I should be able to play it with some sound. Are you able to get the sound there? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Let's go again. And that's how we do that.
Yes.
Very nice.
Very nice.
No, that's
Yeah,
nice.
a lot of nice captures there.
Yeah.
Composites
Yeah.
and some of them how they were framed. Wow.
Yeah, some of them are amazing collages, and just the ones that I know. Like I always say, send in any photo. Take your camera and take a picture. Send it in. That's all we want. That's all we ever want. And so
we're getting
great to
them.
have. We are actually. Yeah, we're getting all kinds of them. So that's what I
awesome.
like to see. Lots of interaction.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bowl here with the entries of the ones that were just in there in that lunar eclipse, and of course the ones that were in the photos that were lunar eclipse as well. So we're going to make a draw here for that book, the 2023 Night Sky Guidebook by Nicole Mortellaro. I'm going to steer them up here. Okay, let's go. Everybody put their hand on the roll there. Everybody all at once. Everybody. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Got one. Okay. All right. Here we go. And the winner is going to be.
Look what I got.
The winner is going to be Brent Wilson.
Yeah.
Brent. Awesome. So Brent, I'll get in touch with you through Facebook here, and we'll get your prize to you. Awesome. Well, that was a great way to end the evening. Thank you everybody for all your images, and please sending them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. So in closing then tonight, we'd like to thank you once again for your continued support of our efforts here. Special thanks again, of course, to Tim and Stefan for joining us here this evening. Thanks, guys. You know, you're always welcome back anytime. So
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to it.
and our special thanks once again to Rosanna for her contributions to our program. Thank you, Rosanna. We really do appreciate it. Obviously, every week it's just amazing. We also hope that those of you who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program. And if you would like more information about the wonders of the night sky, you can find me at astronomybythebay.ca. Also, a special thanks, of course, to those of you who share our program. We really do appreciate it. Remember, we do love getting your photos as well, so you can send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com or snaz@astronomybythebay.ca, whatever is your fancy. And we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. Now, if you have suggestions for a topic for a future show, please let us know at the same address. And please let your friends and family know that we will be back here next Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to entertain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. So for now then, from Tim and Stefan, Mike and Paul, and myself, wish you all a very safe week, everybody. Lots and lots of clear skies, we hope. And as we like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Cue the music.